It's actually pretty easy because we have these laws that protect us. So I could say to whoever tries to influence our content, well, thank you for your suggestion, but I'm not obliged to follow it. I don't need to follow your suggestion because there's this law right here, and I can show them the law. And I say, if you try and force me to do this, you'd be breaking our law. And we do respect our laws here. We operate under a rule of law, and people do respect it. And in the branches of government, in Congress, in the White House, in the State Department, you do find that people really do respect those laws.
And in the era when the President of the United States promotes the idea that people are promulgating fake news, and how can VOA convince its viewers that we are not fake news?
Well, I don't really like the term fake news because, you know, my feeling is if it's fake, then it isn't news really. And so the term fake news means two different things. One is it means things that are made up and circulated by machines or put out in order to deliberately deceive people. It's also come to mean something that I don't like. So governments around the world will say it's fake news if you write something that criticizes them. Well, that's not fake news. That's actually accurate news. And so by letting people around the world see and hear what their governments are actually doing, that I think is the best way to show people that we're fair. And we survey our audiences all the time. We use professional surveyors, and we have about, overall across the entire world, we have about a 65% trust factor. So around the world, on average, 65% of the people that watch or listen to us believe that what we're doing is trustworthy. I think that's amazing. I don't know any other news organization in the world except perhaps BBC that has that kind of numbers.
But knowing our audience, especially in the Balkans and in Russia, our audience is exposed to government-sponsored broadcasters and news agencies, and most of them, they do not go and look our mission, and they just see our logo, they watch our news. How do we convince them that we are fair and balanced news?
So one of the best ways to convince people that we are fair and balanced news is to be fair and balanced news. My feeling is that people really can tell the difference. If you try and manipulate news, if you try and make it take one point of view, maybe people won't know at one time, but over a longer period of time, they can tell whether things are being fact-based. You can see that our reporters go really out of their way to do things factually.
John Lansing, during the 2018 World Press Freedom Day, he said, I'm going to quote, "One of the worst places and most dangerous places is Russian Federation and former Soviet space, to the point of us being a defensive crouch." Can you talk about why was 24/7 network created, Russian language current time? What was the purpose in the bigger picture?
We wanted to give people, not just in Russia, but in Russian-speaking countries, access to the kind of objective, factual news about the United States and about the region that we could see that they wanted to have. And so what we did is we devoted lots more resources to building up a 24/7 network that could be available, as I say, not just inside Russia, where it's sometimes very difficult to get televised content in, but to Russian speakers, of which there's many, many, many outside of Russia and all around the world.
Talking about the laws, the Russian Justice Minister, they included Voice of America, Current Time, and RFRL. They call it foreign mass media performing the functions of foreign agent. And we do have reporters in Russia. So what does the status mean for their work? How free are they in Russia?
They try and be as free as they can to report things factually. One thing we don't want to do, we don't want to restrict what we write or what we do just simply in order to stay in a country. So we want to stay in a country as long as we can report freely and fairly. We believe we're still able to do that. We are obviously concerned about the safety of journalists in all kinds of places like this, but right now we feel that we still can report relatively freely.